The knock on the door was quiet, almost hesitant, but it carried a weight that made my heart skip a beat. I had spent 21 years building a life I thought was steady, a life that had learned to move on without her. My name is Michael, and for most of my adult life, I was defined by her absence. She walked out on me, on our 3 kids, for another man, leaving me with memories that burned like old photographs. I opened the door slowly, expecting perhaps a neighbor, a solicitor, or even the wind to have shifted something. But there she was, Karen, my wife, the woman who had vanished from our lives so abruptly, standing on my porch as if 21 years were nothing. Her hair, still familiar, framed a face that carried lines of time. But the eyes I remembered, were the same. They searched mine, maybe for recognition, maybe for forgiveness, maybe for something I wasn't ready to give. The kids, now grown, were inside unaware at first, until my youngest, Sarah, peeked through the window. Her gasp, followed by the silence that fell over the room, was enough to tell me that the past had a way of crashing back when least expected. I felt 1,000 emotions swirl. Anger, curiosity, disbelief, a faint spark of the old love that had existed before betrayal cut it away. Karen cleared her throat. "Michael," she said softly, almost pleading. I know it's been a long time, but I had to see you. I had to see them." Her voice trembled slightly, carrying the vulnerability of someone who had chosen a different path all those years ago, yet now found herself standing at the threshold of everything she had abandoned. I didn't respond immediately. I studied her. The way she shifted her weight, the subtle nervous energy that radiated off her, the quiet desperation hidden beneath a calm exterior. My mind went back to the day she left, the slammed door, the tears of the children, the unanswered questions, the nights I spent wondering why love could vanish so completely. And here she was, expecting some kind of welcome, some instant absolution, after 2 decades of silence. I finally spoke, my voice steady but low. "You have 21 years of explaining to do." Karen flinched slightly at my words, but she didn't step back. "I know," she whispered. "I don't expect forgiveness, not yet. I needed to see you all, to try and make things right, even if it's just a small part of it." Her eyes flicked toward the living room, toward our children who were now cautiously peeking from behind the couch and door frames. Each of them carried traces of the hurt she had left behind, the questions that had haunted their childhoods, and the distance that had grown between us all. I could see the hesitation in her movements, the careful way she measured her steps, as if walking into a minefield where every misstep could trigger a storm. I remembered the early years after she left, how I had shielded the kids from the bitterness, tried to be both mother and father in one, how I had held them through nights of crying, whispered assurances that they were loved, that their mother's absence was not a reflection of their worth. Those memories rushed back like a tidal wave, sharp and unrelenting. She swallowed hard, her voice breaking slightly. I made mistakes. I made the worst mistake of my life. I left, and I can't take back the pain I caused. I thought I needed to follow another path, but I was wrong. And now I want to see if there's a way to reconnect, somehow, even if it's only to explain, to be honest at last." I remained silent, letting her words hang in the air. Silence, after all, has a weight that conversation sometimes cannot match. My eyes studied hers, searching for sincerity, searching for a glimmer of the woman I had loved, or at least the version of her that could acknowledge the destruction left behind. My children, sensing the tension, stayed still, their faces unreadable yet alive with curiosity, fear, and perhaps a cautious hope. Finally, I nodded slowly. "You'll have your chance to explain. But know this, 21 years of absence isn't something we can erase with a few words. It will take more than apologies. It will take truth, patience, and acknowledgement of what you left behind." Her shoulders sagged slightly, relief mingling with guilt, as if the first step of this long journey had been taken. And in that instant, I realized that the story wasn't just hers to tell anymore. It was ours to navigate together, painfully, cautiously, and with all the scars of the past still fresh in the air. Over the next hour, Karen sat at the edge of the living room, speaking slowly, carefully, trying to fill in the gaps that had existed for over 2 decades. She told us about the choices she had made, the regrets that had haunted her every day, the moments when she had wanted to turn back but lacked the courage. Her voice trembled with honesty, with the weight of years lived apart. And for the first time, the children listened not with anger, but with the fragile curiosity of those seeking answers. I watched her closely, measuring each word, each pause, each subtle shift in expression. It wasn't enough to hear apologies. It wasn't enough to witness regret. Actions mattered more than words, and trust, once broken, required painstaking reconstruction. My eldest, Jason, crossed his arms, his jaw tight. "Mom, why did you leave us? Why did you walk away?" His voice was calm, but it carried the undercurrent of pain that 21 years had not healed. Karen's hands shook as she reached for them, tears welling up in her eyes. "I was selfish, Jason. I made choices that were wrong, and I hurt all of you. I can't change the past, but I want to be here now, to try to be part of your lives again if you'll let me." Sarah's eyes softened, though a hint of caution lingered. "It's been 21 years. You can't just show up and expect everything to be okay." Her words were sharp, yet truthful, echoing the caution that life had taught her. I finally spoke, my voice steady, the authority of years guiding it. "Karen, this isn't about forgiveness yet. It's about facing the truth. You left. You abandoned us. Now if you want a place here, you have to earn it day by day, not through words, but through actions that show you mean what you say." She nodded, swallowing hard, her gaze meeting mine. In that instant, a quiet understanding passed between us, a fragile bridge built from honesty and acknowledgement. The children, sensing the sincerity, relaxed slightly, allowing a tentative hope to flicker in their eyes. As she stood to leave that first evening, promising to return, I realized that life had a way of confronting the past in the most unexpected ways. Pain lingers, trust is fragile, and time cannot be rewritten. But sometimes, even after decades of absence, the truth can open a door, and perhaps, just perhaps, begin a journey toward healing that none of us believed possible so many years ago.